Hi guys!
Hi, Facebook Live.
Coming at you from LA, straight out of Compton, straight up the 101. It's how we do.
This is how we do it.
This is my gorgeous girlfriend, Jessie Reed, who is like the queen of identity. She just, wow, she rocks my socks off and like really understanding the power of knowing yourself and knowing your identity and how powerful that is. It like once you know yourself, how you can show up in a relationship or any circumstance for that matter. So Jessie, thank you so much. Like tell us all the good stuff about identity.
All the good gory details.
Yeah, while I drive.
I will. Yeah, we've had an amazing couple of days. Like I feel like it's been this sparking of, because one of the things that you pioneer is fighting for people's, one of the greatest root systems in people is their ability of connecting intimately, because we're so created for connection. And one of my passions is seeing people rooted in their identity, in who they were created to be. And that we're just chatting, we've just been non-stop chatting about how those things really correlate, how they almost dance together and they bounce off each other. And one of the things that is my greatest passion is fighting for people to be who they were called to be, because I've had to fight for myself a lot in that. And there is nothing more powerful than the freedom of getting to be you without comparison or with the influence of what the world or people say. And knowing, I remember recently someone told me, Jessie, you look gorgeous, blah, 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 and all that. And it was great stuff. But I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to build my root system in that. I'm going to build my root system in who I am, first and foremost. And then a week later, I remember thinking in that I feel such freedom in my identity of who I am, not built on what other people say.
Whoa.
Although I appreciate affirmation, because you know I'm a words of affirmation girl.
Totally.
But I don't feed my roots off who people say I am. I feed my roots off growing in who I'm created to be.
Wow.
And in that place then, when someone came to me a week later and said some really down-putting things about me, I was just as free to not feed my roots off that.
Wow.
So that is something that I love to do, is encourage and champion everybody. Bring something unique to this world that is so needed, that is so life-giving. And you know, like I love in Nelson Mandela's speech that was actually written by some woman, that as you rise in your own freedom, you bring freedom to other people. So I really want to encourage you guys in that, wherever you are at, both men, women, like men, there's so many men out there that you have vision with purpose. You have vision with destiny. And I just want to encourage you to give that permission and space to grow in that, because there is things that you have for this earth that nobody else can bring that aspect of. And we need that. We need you to rise up. And the same with women. There is elements, like we've been talking about how powerful beauty is.
Oh yeah.
We need you as women to rise up.
Yes.
And be who you were created to be. And you know, it's one of the most valuable things on this planet is having the space to explore. To explore who you are, and then in that place is where those root systems go down deep, that when it comes to that place of availability for connection, intimacy, love, relationship, that it flourishes and it doesn't get hit by the rough times, that you're sustainable for a lifetime.
It's so good. That is so powerful. You know, Jessie, it's true, like when you get, especially in intimacy, like that is a place where it's the scariest place to get hit, is in your intimate life. And if you don't know who you are, when you're in a relationship or you're in an intimate situation with someone and they come at you because they're hurt out of their brokenness and they come after you, if you are not rooted in your identity, you're going to get blasted. You're going to be smothered. You're going to be smashed to the ground, because it's knowing who you are in those challenging moments of intimacy, and that dance of intimacy, where someone challenges you and they go, you know what, you're an asshole, you're selfish, or you're this or you're that, and you go, you know what, I know you're really hurt right now, and I'm really sorry that that's where you are, and I know that that's not who I am, but I'm really sorry that you feel hurt in this moment by me. Woo!
Yeah.
That's so much more powerful as opposed to just reacting and having your world fall apart because a person that you really care about and that you really love just basically came against you, and you don't feel seen by them. You don't feel loved by them. You don't feel championed by them, but just going, you know what?
True.
That's their brokenness, and I give them space to be broken. I give you space. I give you permission to be broken. I give you permission to be angry with me right now. I give you permission to hurt me. I give you permission to be hurt by me, not to hurt me. I give you permission to even not see me right now if that's where you are.
Right.
But no matter where you are, my root system is not going to just dismantle because you don't see me, because I give myself permission to see myself.
Yes. And in that place, the more you give yourself permission to see yourself, the more you see other people for who they are without the brokenness.
Whoa.
The more you can call that out, the more you can cultivate not only intimacy for
in half a mile,
not only
keep
relationship
right.
And I feel like there's something, we had a moment, didn't we, recently when we were Skyping, and I just came to, you know what, I'm at this place where I'm okay with myself. I'm okay with my past, my present, and my future.
Wow.
And it's messy in certain areas, but it's beautiful. And the more we become okay with that, the more we actually create an invitational space for a healthy relationship with other people, the more we see the gold in other people. I know some guy turned to me the other day and he was like coming up with all these defensive walls, and he's like, yeah, this about women and that about women. And I just saw the gold, and I just wrapped my arms around him. It's like, your heart is so lovable. And he just broke. He's just like, and it just, he melted in that. And because of who I am and how secure I am and who I was created to be in that moment,
In 0.1
I was
miles,
free to
keep
see
right.
past what he was throwing against me.
Wow.
And even recently, like, I had a relationship that didn't go the way I hoped
Keep
it to go,
right.
but being able to come out of it in a place of knowing I'm still me. I release that person, and actually being able to see the areas where I was blessed without it tormenting me, without it pulling from me, because my roots go down deep and I feed from that place of peace and love and knowing what freedom looks like. It really is the most exhilarating experience.
It's very, very powerful. How did you learn, or how did you discover what freedom looked like for you? That's a loaded question, I know.
That is a fully loaded question. I think it's a continual growing experience, really. The movie Wonder Woman came out recently, and that just so resonated with me. I was just like, that's so what I'm about. I'm so about, to be honest with you, I started by fighting for other people, and I had to learn how to fight for myself.
Wow. Whoa, mic drop. Boop.
And the more I learned to fight for myself, the more effective I was in fighting for other people.
Hazard reported
and we talked about
ahead.
this recently as well, about the power of rest.
Yes.
Do you know, like, the word restoration, the foundation of that word is rest.
Wow.
And the more you learn to move from a place of rest in being loved, and knowing that that is your greatest purpose on this earth, is to be loved. And knowing that it's not dependent on other people and what they say in circumstances. It's just a part of one of the most foundational facts of life, that you're created to be loved. But I'll be honest, I was like, when I was a kid, I remember standing up to like these bullies that were like twice my size. I was always fighting for people. But I really had to learn, especially probably in the last 10 years, how to fight for myself. And then from that place of rest, when I rise up, I'm just so much more powerful in a place of fighting for other people getting to be who they were created to be.
That's so powerful. You know, Jess, I grew up with a lot of rejection, and it was people like you who fought for my heart. You know, I had, like, just people that I consider like mamas and dads, and just people who championed me, but who loved me when I couldn't really love myself. And by doing that, there was an aspect of that where they were fighting for my heart, and that really set me up. It like gave me a ground. It gave me almost like a platform to jump off of. But essentially, like what you're saying, I had to learn how to do that for myself, and that's where it became powerful. And that's
In
where
1
I
mile,
became
exit
the
right.
most free, because what they did for me is they initiated my freedom. They got my freedom moving in the right direction. By you know, there's something about when you know that you're loved, you just feel like you can't fail.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is knowing that like you're able to connect with that love for yourself, because guess what, there are going to be seasons, I've gone through so many seasons where it's been very quiet, and maybe those people weren't around, you know, for whatever reason, and I really had to tap into where is love within myself. How do I connect with that love with myself? Like where am I, and where's my relationship with God and myself in the midst of the very quiet or dark seasons?
Yes,
and
it's powerful.
And in those seasons, it was like, I'm not alone, I'm not abandoned, I'm loved. And it's like in those dark hours is where you find your true freedom for yourself, where you do feel like that Wonder Woman. You do feel invincible. When you see a battle ahead of you, instead of running from it, you run straight at it. Yeah. Because you know you're
in a quarter of a mile, exit right.
I honestly think one of the most powerful things on the planet is just that, when you know that you're loved. And I don't think it just comes from other people, but I think when you own that, that is the root system of identity. That's the root system of intimacy, is knowing that you were loved, that you were created to be loved and also to love. Yes. And I think unless you know how to receive and own that, and it should come out of the overflow like a fountain, really. And that's where it can water everything that's around you. That's where things start to flourish in that place. And I think we're coming into, like, I think there's no accident with all these superhero movies coming
in 1 mile, turn right.
The world needs people to rise up. And I think ultimately as well, I do think that intimacy and identity is freedom. I think that once you tune into that in its purest form, it is freedom.
Yes.
I don't think, and I think we were chatting about this earlier. I was like, a lot of people say things like, oh, well, it comes easy to you. And I'm like, Arica, they do not realize how much I have fought for this myself in my own life. And I see how you have fought for these things. And because we have fought for these things for ourselves, we can champion other people in this more effectively than just going around on a mass crusade.
So good. It's almost like I really believe this. I like that theory to experience. Like when I've connected with people and they have a lot of head knowledge, unless you fight for that for yourself, it's just theory. But to actually have it integrated into yourself, you have to go on that journey of being willing to be your own champion, to be your own warrior, to fight for yourself.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. That's where I feel like a little bit with times when, oh gosh, when I get together with this girl, I'm just like, oh, my heart, my soul, my spirit sings, because it's just, I know that you have done that battle for yourself so much that there's muscles there. And it's like taking it to the gym. It's like taking it to the gym and you work it out. And like both of us were eldest childs, which took on a lot of responsibility and having to unlearn some of those behaviors, having to unlearn taking responsibility for everybody and learning how to value myself. And in that place,
in 0.1 miles, turn right.
Where there is risk. There's risk and vulnerability in intimacy. There's risk and vulnerability in choosing to be free. There's risk and vulnerability in owning your identity. But I just want to encourage any of you that are watching this today that you are one of those people that there is a unique destiny on your life that is so needed for this time. So I just want to encourage you that it is worth it. That feeling of freedom in knowing who you are and owning that, there's no price on it.
No.
Turn right.
No. There is, I love what you said, there is so much vulnerability and like taking that risk to own your own identity. When I went on this journey of becoming this
in half a mile, turn left.
Intimacy doctor, intimacy person, that was me stepping into my true self. And Jesse, it was like before I really stepped into that, it was a really dark season. It was really scary. I spent many days and nights on the couch just crying, going, there's so much courage and being seen and standing for your identity. It requires a tremendous amount of vulnerability and courage. I think it's really powerful that you spoke to that.
Yeah. And another thing that you just brought up that I love is that those seasons of darkness. Often we see people on platforms that communicate things well, and we don't realize actually some of the things they went through to get there were so messy.
Yeah.
And I'm a good communicator. I have no problem in getting up and singing, acting, dancing, communicating in front of thousands of people. However, to get to where I've gone, it meant years in a dance studio. It meant years
in
working
0.1
my vocal
miles,
cords.
turn
And in
left.
the same way, in some of the things with identity and owning and valuing who I was created to be, as well as those that are around me, those muscles need to be worked out. And there were messy times. There was times when it was sweaty and messy and just gross, and there are still times where I'm growing, but I'm passionate about seeing that growth, so it's worth it. It's like, you know,
turn
you take
left.
protein shakes, you bulk up that muscle, you go to the gym, and you look good at the end of it, you know. And it's not about looks, but it is about that place of, you know, the more I get to work those muscles out, the more I get to exercise these things, the more free I am to be free.
Totally. You know, just I really feel like people just need the permission to just be messy. I think my coaches gave that to me years ago. They were like,
really
we love you in your mess.
In half a
I feel
mile,
like there's
turn
so much
right.
fear and shame around not being messy. It's just like, well, I've got to be perfect. I've got to put a filter on my life. I've got to put a hashtag on my life. I've got to, and it's like, no, like you'll never get to the beauty unless you allow the mess to come up for what it is, and just call it beautiful and give yourself permission to be there. And I think a lot of people are like, okay, I give myself 5 minutes to be in this messy place, and then I need to come out and I need to be beautiful. But it's like, no, in the mess is your beauty. That is your beauty, is in the mess, in the process, in the journey. That is where the true beauty is. And when you come out, that's the byproduct. But the beauty is in the actual mess.
I love that.
And
it's so true.
And just giving yourself grace to be there and not rushing your heart. That's something I always encourage my clients is, when you're in the mess, do not put a time clock on your heart of, you got to come out of this in 5 minutes. You got to get your act together. And it's like, no, there are no demands on your heart. There's just grace for your heart to have the permission to be in the midst of the mess.
That's beautiful. And you know, one of the things, I was choreographer for years, and I did some choreography for like the Queen of England and some big people. But before that, I had to do an exercise on imperfection because I was so perfectionistic that it held me back. And as I started to choreograph these really messy pieces, some of my best choreography came out after that, because my fear of making mistakes was blocking me. It was like this rigid wall that I put up around myself. So with that mess and that perfectionistic mentality, like, I think excellence is different from perfection. I think excellence is a beautiful thing. But I do think, like, when you, I'm going to talk a little bit about gardening, not that I do much, but when you really cultivate a beautiful garden, you come in and your nails are like filthy dirty, and it's like all the roots and the muck. And actually that's what creates beauty. That's what creates something powerful and something that lasts.
I love it. I love it. Jessie, so if I tag you in this Facebook video, can people reach out to you and they go, you know what, I really resonated with you and what you said about identity? Are you open to like taking their friend request and having a conversation with them about identity?
Absolutely.
Okay guys, I'm going to tag Jessie in this video, and if what she's saying calls to you and it resonates with you, I would highly encourage you that you send her a message and have a conversation about that with her.
Fantastic. Yeah.
In 0.1 miles, turn right.
So much, girlfriend. This is powerful. As we drive through LA, listening to Waze in the background.
It's so good.
Yes.
Oh, thank you guys for taking the time as well to just tune in. We hope it's been helpful.
Yeah, of course it has, darling.
Turn right.
Of course it has.
Of course.
Mwah.
I love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Right there. Finish.